Hi, I've got this 2016 Jeep Renegade. I've had it for 7 years now, I believe. It's been a fantastic vehicle. It's quite a rare model in that it's the 2-litre diesel, turbo diesel, with the manual transmission and the cloth upholstery. These are all things I wanted. I didn't want automatic. And it's in the sort of Omaha orange colour, so it's quite distinctive. And it's given us zero problems. It's been a fantastic vehicle, except for this week. One problem has appeared. Its first problem in, well, I suppose it's 9 years old now. So the problem is this. Well, if I start it, you'll see what I mean.
In beautiful red oil, and then that can go in like a parmesan.
So it's given some warnings there. Check engine, start stop not available. And if I go past that, the thing to notice up here is the temperature. This is the outside temperature. It says 60 Celsius. Well, since it's probably about 20 Celsius and we are not in the middle of the Arabian desert in high summer, that's clearly wrong. And because that's gone wrong, that's kicking off all sorts of things. So you've got the check engine light. It has also prevented the four-wheel drive from engaging, so if I press the four-wheel drive button, nothing is happening. You can see it flicks to a different mode and then just cancels itself. Again, this car is rare. It does not have climate control. It just has manual aircon, and that works. If you had full climate control, this temperature sensor going would undoubtedly break that as well. Now for the fix for this, I have to say thank you to an excellent suggestion from a fellow YouTuber. I'll put his name down here in the title. Sorry, I've forgotten your name. But he does a video showing how to fix this on a 2015 Trailhawk and what the problem is. The video is done at night, so I thought I'd take some more video during the day in case this helps someone, but it was at least his video that showed me exactly what the problem was. So you may ask yourself, where is this temperature sensor that's clearly gone wrong? And it's actually a thermistor, which is, it's like a resistor, an electrical resistor, but the resistance changes by temperature. You can obtain them. They don't cost a lot, but the problem is it's built into the mirror, so if you go to a Jeep dealership, they're likely to try and sell you an entire mirror. Someone's not going to get a soldering iron out and try to repair this one item, which is only a few pennies. So although it's in the mirror, and it's obviously in the mirror, so it's a location which doesn't get hot. It's not. I wondered if it was behind the bonnet, behind the front bumper, but it's not. Now, the difficulty is getting that out. These days, modern mirrors, things aren't held together with screws, so it's all seemingly invisible. But you can actually see, if you look under the mirror, you can see this little black thing sticking out, circular thing sticking out at the bottom, and that's the temperature sensor. Now, if I angle the mirror one way or the other, I should be able to get a screwdriver in and release the little tabs that hold it in place. Effectively, the paint coloured outer of the mirror just clips in place, but actually unclipping it, you've got to be very careful, or you're going to break one of the little clips, which are just plastic, or you're going to smash the mirror. So if you angle the mirror one way, fully the other, you can likely get a screwdriver in and just ease these clips just far enough to start moving the mirror back out of position and unclipping it. So we'll try that. And by the way, so it's in the passenger mirror, which means it'll be on the left in the UK, or it'll be on the right everywhere else on the world. So it's the left on this one. So I'm going to move it so the mirror is angled outwards to give me a gap at the end of the mirror so I can access around the back of the mirror. frustrating, the gap is not quite large enough to get my finger on the tab. The useful thing is, because the car is orange, you can quite clearly see the orange plastic tab there. There's also one at the top here, which you might not be able to see. Right, so with a bit of prizing, it's now come off this inside as well. Another clip inside here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I've ended up with a partly broken clip here, partly broken, a broken one at the top. Now with this off, we can tease off the base here. And there's the thermistor in this little housing, which we can probably just push out. There it is. That's the thing that's broken. Now the power to the mirror comes through this connector, so I'm going to release this so I'm not working on something that's potentially live. Now it's released. If I pull it back further, that should pull the connector out. There we go. So it's got like a camming action. There you go. That pulls that out. There's the connector, which looks all nice and clean. The thermistor is embedded in this resin here, so just sort of worked my way down here with the knife, releasing it. There we go. So that's just the housing. We can reuse that bit, glue in the replacement one in there. I guess it keeps the weather off. And this is the offending component, so we need a replacement for that, which won't look necessarily the same if I buy an aftermarket one, but we can solder it in. It should make all the difference. I stripped the thread of the old thermistor and then just put the voltmeter on it, so we've got 11.3 kiloohms at the current temperature. So as I stood here, the Amazon driver has arrived, and we have, wow, some tiny thermistors. So this one at this temperature has 13.8, just going up, 13.9, 14k. If I touch it, warm it up, that drops. And if I stop touching it, let it cool down, it goes up. So the resistance is clearly inversely proportional to the temperature, and this is much lower resistance, indicating much higher temperature than the new thermistor. Actually, if I hold this, does it make a difference? Yeah, we can see it's dropping the warmth from my fingers. Let go. It should start going up again. There's clearly an offset. The resistance is too low. So we'll cut the old one off. Because it's just effectively a resistor, there's no positive or negative here, or there is, but it doesn't matter which is which. And I'll strip this. A little bit of flux on here. So this is a gungy container of flux. Tin this. This is not the cleanest soldering iron in the world. A couple of pieces of heat shrink sleeving. Now I should be able to solder on one of these thermistors. In fact, I'll probably put some solder on here to start with. So with a new thermistor in there, before I put everything back together, let's see if we get a different reading here. help if I actually plug the door in. I've plugged the door back in, so before I put anything together, let's see if there's a different temperature reading. Yeah, 16 degrees. That sounds a bit better. I think we're going to have to reset some warning codes, but that definitely sounds better. Shrink the heat shrink sleeving. I'm going to cheat and just use the back of the soldering iron. So that can go in there. Probably ought to seal that in with something. I'll put a dollop of Sikaflex on it. This should clip back in. Just check the indicator works. That still flashes. The speakers come back on. Carefully, without breaking any more of it. There we go. So that's the thermistor I used. It's an NTC type thermistor. It's a slightly different model from the one that comes fitted, so it may not have quite the same temperature response, but if it fixes the problem and it shows a half reasonable temperature, then frankly I'm happy. Now initially I powered up the vehicle having forgotten to plug back in the cable to the door, and that caused a lot of confusion amongst the vehicle's computer, which then said the sound system was unavailable and all sorts of other things were unavailable, including rear parking sensors for some reason. So I plugged it back in, reset the vehicle, or restarted the vehicle, and those errors have gone away. Next I need to do something about the check engine light and get the transmission working again. I think that just needs, get the four-wheel drive working. I think that just needs something to be reset, and then it should be fine. But it's now showing 16 Celsius rather than 60 Celsius, so that's definitely an improvement. So next step is to clear down the fault codes and see if the four-wheel drive system, etc., starts working again. I did have a go. I looked on the internet and people said stuff about pressing the throttle 5 times and things like that. That didn't work, so I'm going to use a proper sort of fault code reader and reset it that way. So this means I need access to the OBD2 socket, which on this car is here. Remember, this is a right-hand drive one, so it'll be the opposite if you're in the US or Europe. I think this just unclips. There we go. One socket. Clearly has power. I'll take it out of gear just in case, but I'll power it up without using the clutch. That way it should just power on, but not try and run the starter motor.
That have been written about yet more. You've got times they are changing, Bob Dylan.
Let's try engine inspection. So it's got 2 warnings. Both say engine coolant, which is just undoubtedly wrong. It would be odd that the engine coolant had gone at the same time. So let's try and clear those. Let's continue. Right. Let's try to close left. I'll power this down and then power this off on again.
And teacher, the way he wrote.
There's a check engine light still on. The other warning has gone though. Malfunction indicator status is off. I'll start the engine and stop it again and see. On startup, it's gone. It's cleared itself. Just try selecting four-wheel drive. Aha! We have drive again. That's good. And start, stop. Right, start, stop is on. Forward drive lock is on for some reason. Turn it off. Wow, that's fixed it. I mean, it says it's 19 degrees Celsius outside. It doesn't feel 19, it feels quite a bit colder than that. But then again, the wing mirror that has got the temperature sensor in is in the sun, so that's probably a lot warmer. So I think that's worked, and that didn't cost me much. So yeah, quite happy with that. So that's all looking good. I mean, it is properly reading the engine coolant temperature, but I never thought that was a question. I don't know why this is still showing Fahrenheit. I need to set this to metric. It's quite impressive. 3,600 psi fuel rail pressure. Other than that, yeah, I think that's worked. Well, I'm pleased with that. That's probably saved me several £100 on a brand new mirror for no reason other than a sensor. Cool. Well, I hope that helps someone. Alright, thanks everyone. Bye.